pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you very much. If I could get a motion to approve the meeting agenda?
I'll motion.
Get a second? Second. All right, thanks. Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you for that. Pearl, do we have any blue cards? No blue cards. All right, on to item D, special presentation to the board. Our favorite two names, King and King. And Turner Construction. Podium's all yours, sir.
So if I can just jump in on that. So the importance of that wall, that's where everyone gets their pictures taken. Their kids stand in front of it leading up to graduation. That's always what the media use as well. And right now it looks like the old Soviet block, right, with the old wall. And again, Paul has done amazing things. I call him the MacGyver of the district. He was able to patch things together before we went full-on capital project. But that's going to be beautiful. That's the front entrance, and that's what everybody sees. So we're so excited about that.
Yeah, and I don't want to skip over that part, and I want to thank you for that, because it's $300,000 that was saved, and I. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic thing, and I didn't want it to go, just get swept underneath the briefing.
You know, besides alternates, we've got, you know, the work, and then the big one is the driveway.
Yes. And that's going to happen this summer? Perfect.
From where we were with the outrageous, cost of all the product and whatnot, is that starting to get a little bit better? Right. Thank you.
The one that seems to be uncertain. Trying to get a handle on all of those things, but, you know, each circumstance.
The other thing too that all the board members might not be aware of is I've been working with King and King. Kirk did a great job several months ago of providing us what it could look like to have additions to our buildings to save costs that would look the same regarding Micron. So behind the scenes, we're working with that and lobbying because they have to change the mechanism for capital projects based on what the estimated numbers are going to be instead of real numbers. Because if we wait, we could all of a sudden in 2 years get 500 more kids, and then in 3 years get 1,000 more kids. We can't have pods out there delivered. That would look horrible. So what Kurt did for us, what King did for us was, it was us, it was North Syracuse, Liverpool, and Phoenix. Phoenix not so much because they've got the room for it, but the other ones on what those wings could look like, that if they're all the same for us, it would save a lot of money and how we go about it. So we have that just in case we need it. Yep.
We do, there's still a lot more work to be done at the state level because they're just not set up to deal proactively with things like this.
Correct.
So we'll see where this goes. It's gonna take a lot of lobbying effort, especially with the governor's office. Children may arrive, and 5 years later, we may have space for them, which
Right. Thank you.
Okay, on to item D2, athletics presentation from Mr. Jamie Crenshaw.
Is that better? Okay, very good, sorry. Some of the things that we're doing in my office to try to continue to grow our program here at Central Square. What I did was I broke down the, if I can get this to work. It buzzed. What am I pointing at here? Yeah, it's on. Oh, there it goes. Very good. Wrong button. I broke down the fall sports by modified JV, what our offerings are. Since I've been here, we reinstituted an additional soccer team for both the boys and the girls. Obviously, I'm not gonna read off all the sports, but you can see we have an extensive list. One of the things that I did want to kind of highlight and talk about a little bit is right down here at the bottom, our game day cheerleading. It's very different. I know when I went to school many, many years ago, it was, you know, your fall cheer was just your cheer at the football games and those kind of events. Game day is now competitions. Game day is whole different events that they go to and they compete at. And again, in my time here, we have done wonders. Our new coach is doing an excellent job. We won, I think, 2 competitions this year. So really moving in a positive direction with that particular sport. Winter sports offered. Again, the girls modified volleyball team, we have 2 of those, 2 boys basketball modified, 2 girls basketball modified, and then again, a whole slew of offerings there on the right-hand side. We have been presented with some challenges, as you all well know. With the bowling alley closing, we now go to Fulton for both our practices and our home matches to do that. But overall, I think we're doing really good things. The unified bowling and unified basketball, outstanding programs that are really kind of, working with the special ed department and working with our administration. Those have been great, and we'll highlight some of those in some of our pictures later on. But those are our winter sports that we offer. And then on to spring sports. Again, a good number of offerings. I do have an asterisk right there next to flag football. As if you read the papers or the internet at all, this is one of those things that's blowing up. We have recently had a meeting and had some interest in that, some very good interest in that. So that's something that we would intend to do this spring.
About that though, because it's girls and even the girls didn't want to pull from other.
So one of my biggest concerns as this grew is, we start pulling, if we have offerings, we start pulling different kids off of different teams. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see somebody else get decimated. So what happened was I actually had a couple of students come to my office, and they had gone and they had done some legwork. They had done some research. They came to me and they said, well, we can fundraise for uniforms, and we told everybody that if you played a spring sport, you couldn't play flag football. And I said, well, it doesn't really work like that. So once it's offered, you're going to be able to sign up for whatever you want to sign up for. So we did a survey here in school, and we had great interest. We had a meeting, and we had about 25 kids showed up. And honestly, when looking at those kids, there weren't very many that we were pulling from other sports. So really, you're just getting more participation from students. So I think that was great, and they're super excited. I think it's going to be, I actually got a phone call the other day from somebody at Syracuse.com. They're doing a story about it, not us specifically, but just the rise and the growth of this sport. So I think that's going to be a really exciting thing here in the spring.
Jamie also did let them know that the board has not approved that.
I did let them know that, yes. I let Syracuse.com, I said, don't make me out like, I'm doing things ahead of approval, because I did not do that. This is a participation report that I pulled up, basically just looking at our numbers from 22-23 to last school year, 23-24, and we'll do the same thing again next year, but just looking at the rise in participation overall. You can see at the modified level, we went from 379 up to 464, and at the JV varsity, we went from 714 to 765. And again, that's the number of students, it's the number that's the number of participants, but the number of students that participated in athletics. So those are really good numbers.
Are there any obvious drivers there's an increase in everything, which is great.
Yeah, I think that, kind of coming back from, and still coming back from COVID and just getting more and more kids acclimated to that, I think you're just seeing those numbers rise. So I would say that's kind of the big one right there. I know that, we really made a concerted effort to try and make sure that our modified teams, we're filling our modified teams up. We're not real stern on we start modified practices sometimes a week before the school even starts. So we get kids who come in and they haven't been able to get a ride or whatever the situation may be. So we're kind of lenient with that to offer that opportunity. We had so many students sign up for both boys and girls soccer that, I came to Tom and I said, we have enough to put additional teams out there. So again, when you're trying to build that pyramid of making sure your foundation is full of participants, I think that's one of the big ones, that those kids all had the opportunity to participate at that level. So hopefully you see that continue to grow.
Is there any data from some of our community sports, Pop Warner and the soccer leagues, and that we see a rise at the lower age groups as well?
It's a good question. I don't know. I can get back to you on that. We do have conversations with them, and I'm not sure what they're. Well, this I do know. Talking to and working with the Junior Redhawks, the basketball program, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. I want to say that Natalie told me they're up over 30 to 35 teams right now. So again, that's making a huge comeback from what it was previously.
Jamie, when you say previously, do you mean before COVID?
Yeah, before I think it was big before I got here, and then
Okay.
COVID happened.
Yeah.
And so yes, I think that, yes.
Have you had a chance to compare the numbers now with what it was before COVID?
I have not. I did
Okay.
not. So some of our athletic achievements from last year, I consider getting to the sectional semifinals, you're the Final Four. I consider that a pretty good achievement right there. So we had boys soccer got to the sectional semifinals. Our girls basketball, as you all well know, we were SCAC division champions. We were sectional champions, and we made our first ever regional appearance. So that was, last year was a pretty historic run for our girls basketball team. Wrestling, we were league champs last year. We had a sectional champion who went on to states. Diving, offering opportunities to combine with other schools. We had a student who won the sectionals last year. He dove with Mexico, or as a team of one with Mexico, so that was a good opportunity for him. Our baseball team had a great run last year. We made the sectional semifinals. Bowling took third in sectionals last year. Girls volleyball, sectional semifinals. And boys and girls track had sectional qualifiers for multiple athletes. So overall, I think it was a very successful season for our athletes. Scholar athlete information, this is one that I think is really important to highlight, and I know that we hear that we have scholar athlete teams and we have scholar athletes. I don't know that we always know or recognize what exactly that means. So for a team to be a scholar athlete team, 75% of the official roster must have an average of 90 or above. If that does not happen, an individual can be a scholar athlete if the team does not meet the overall 75%. So there's two designations in terms of schools. School of Excellence, 75% of varsity teams are recognized as scholar athlete teams. Or the School of Distinction, which is when every team in that season is a varsity, is a scholar athlete team. So for us, in all 3 seasons, we were School of Excellence. And looking at the teams that were scholar athlete teams, I think down at the bottom is pretty impressive in terms of the percentages. In the fall, we had 10 out of our 11 teams for 91%, so we missed it by one team being School of Distinction. In winter, we had 77%, and in spring, we had 88%. So, I really try to make that a point of emphasis with our coaches. Tom and I and the administration have had several meetings on how we are promoting and making sure that our students are students first, athletes second. So I'm really proud of the fact that our coaches do impress that upon them, and we make sure that the kids are doing well in school as well.
Yeah, and Jamie, to me, this is why you're here. I mean, I kind of requested it, but that last slide, we have such a fantastic program that you administer. It's really, I think, something to be very proud of. I think what you guys are doing is just fantastic, and it means a lot that you're a student first and an athlete second. And I think that culture is something to be, cherished and something to be.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So great job on that.
Along with that, we have our 2023 Student Athlete Signing Day. So every May, we do a signing day in the gym. 21 total commitments to play college athletics from our students last year. 11 different teams were represented. 19 different schools, including, I just highlighted some of them, MIT, West Point, Lemoyne, Middle Tennessee State, several Division III and junior college signings. There's different philosophies out there from different districts. Some only do a signing day for the Division I kids. My philosophy, kind of going back to that previous slide, is if you're going to be a college athlete, there's a level of dedication, not only academically, but obviously athletically, that you need to adhere to. And I think it's important to recognize all of those kids, whether it's Division I, II, III, JUCO, whatever it is you're going on and you are participating in college. That's pretty impressive, and it says a lot about our kids, and it says a lot about our coaches and our programs, and our parents as well. So I put some highlights together. Some of this seems like it was so long ago because, again, this is from the last school year. Friday Night Lights, we had WSYR came to the turf at 5:30 in the morning, and it's just a nice representation of our student athletes, of our student section. It was a great morning. This was our, kind of going back and with traditions and whatnot. This was an alumni night that we had here with the wrestling program. So we had one of our matches was set up as alumni night, and we had a good turnout from all of our former wrestlers that came back. Bob Coppola, and again, I don't know how much recognition this got, but Bob Coppola, I'm sure most of you know who he is, 800 plus wins, but he went into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame in Stillwater, Oklahoma last year. So that's a pretty impressive feat, pretty exclusive club. As I talked about before, our unified athletes, I think this picture just kind of embodies what that is. Our administration was super supportive in getting our flock to come out, and teachers come to this. These are probably my favorite athletic events, just because it's extremely wholesome, and to watch that is great. So if you ever have the opportunity to come out and to watch these kids, it's outstanding. Bill does an excellent job with them. He really does. And all the support group that's involved, they do a great job with the kids. It's just really fun to get out there and watch them. And it's great to watch our kids, our helpers, along with them. It's super impressive. This is the girls' basketball right after the sectional championship. And there's a picture of our spring signing day that we do in May. You can see all of our athletes are signing their letters of intent right there, the letters that we give them to sign. They all bring in some kind of paraphernalia from their school of choice. This was our Scholar Athlete Awards dinner. Central Square was represented by Natalie Crandall and Braden Wolf at this. Every school has two students that represent them at this dinner. It's a pretty impressive group amongst 107 schools or so in Section 3. So now kind of moving beyond what we've been doing and where we are going and what's coming up. That's actually a graphic that's in our back hallway right now. Kids love it. I think it's a pretty cool thing for them to see and to kind of spruce up our back area right there. So new opportunities. Girls wrestling is going to be combining with Phoenix, Liverpool, and Hannibal this year. That's going to be hosted over in Phoenix. I kind of mentioned before girls flag football. And then we are also looking at potential expanded opportunities for United Phys Ed. So it would be the same idea as, Unified Phys Ed. It'd be the same idea as Unified Basketball or bowling, but it would take place in the setting would be in a Phys Ed class. So we're kind of in the planning stages of that, looking at what it would take to make that happen. Going back to the combination and the girls flag football, as I mentioned before, the process is really kind of finding out what the interest is, doing some surveys, collecting some information, and then providing the information to them in terms of what, say, wrestling was going to look like. Unfortunately, we weren't able to transport our students over there just because of the logistics of it. But we got those numbers, and we did have the opportunity, again, to send our students over there. It's not too far, but we do want to. That's another one of those sports that's up and growing, and we'll keep our eye on whether or not that's something that we could eventually host and have our own team here. Flag football, as I mentioned, that was a winner right there. I mean, I had 25 kids, I think, that showed up for that initial meeting, and that was just the first one. So we'll see, how that kind of takes off here in the spring. So kind of switching gears a little bit, and somebody had mentioned, we had talked a little bit about the community offerings and the things that go on here. I was surprised in my fourth year now, I was surprised at how much we are involved in terms of the community aspect of it in the athletic office. These are some of the groups, I probably don't have them all, but these are some of the groups that use our facilities and that we work with to try and kind of grow from a grassroots. Again, I won't read them all, but as you can see, there are a number of different sports and different organizations that are represented here, that use our facilities, that, again, working with Paul and his crew, trying to make sure that everything is scheduled, everything is ready, everything is lined for these groups. I thought it was kind of important, just again, to turn, in terms of breaking it down numbers-wise, to just kind of look at, these are average, and the one that sticks out, these are the number of hours per week that community organizations are using, either our fields or our gyms. The one that sticks out is obviously in the winter. I think when I tallied it up, it was on average about 70 hours a week that we are filling our gyms with community organizations. Winter, we only have so many gyms, and we expanded all the way into Sundays this year to try to provide those opportunities, because you also need to remember it's not just athletics. We also have winter guard, and we have some of the band groups that go in there, amongst other things. So, you can just see by looking at, like I had mentioned, the junior Red Hawks community basketball, they're averaging 60+ hours a week. And I think it's great. It's great for the opportunities for those younger kids to get involved. That's where your programs are you're gonna gain that interest, and that's where your programs are gonna grow and work from. And I always try to emphasize to my coaches how important it is to be visible and to work with those community programs, so there's a seamless transition when those kids do come up. And then again, finally, moving forward, where are we going from here? I have talked to Mr. Calabufo on a number of occasions about, the facilities and the fact that Central Square just relies on these facilities, as we just talked about, extremely heavily. So when we look at capital projects, when we look at opportunities to potentially improve the facilities, build new facilities, it's obviously something that's going to come down from a capital project standpoint. But I think it's important that we have community stakeholders, that everybody has an opportunity to kind of recognize different perspectives and make informed decisions about what we want to have, what kind of multi-use facilities can we put in place that's going to serve, again, not just athletics, but you've got band that uses our stadium a lot. They have their own practice fields, all those things that we can kind of maximize the bang for the buck and continue to work with these our community-based groups and organizations. That's all I have in terms of my presentation. Does anybody have any questions?
Girls wrestling, where do they practice at?
Phoenix.
At Phoenix?
Yep, everything.
And all of the schools?
Everything's, though, yes, those schools that I had listed, Hannibal, Liverpool, and Phoenix are at Phoenix.
Okay.
Yep.
2 years ago, we had to, after the year that I drove the hockey bus, right, the van, we've expanded so many of either team of one in another district or combining. There was no way, so there's no one now that we can transport for those combined teams. We just don't have the buses or the bus drivers to be able to pull something like that off. It's unfortunate, parents figure it out, but we haven't done that in a few years now.
Because we have students that go to Oswego for hockey, girls. We have students that go to Fulton, the boys go to Fulton for hockey. We had a student going to Mexico for swimming, and now we are, our own home alley is in Fulton, so there's just so many different avenues, and we're just stretched very thin in terms of doing that. It's just not feasible to provide transportation to everybody to do that, so that was,
Yeah.
yeah, the bowling alley. Yeah, that one hurt, so.
At least we have 2 of those in our district.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. On to item E, if I could get a motion for E in its entirety.
All motion.
Second? Dave? Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. On to item F. Can I get a motion for consent agenda 1A, B, and 6?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, on to item G. First up, student board member report.
Okay. So some past events. On November 13th, friends and family gathered as our current National Honor Society members inducted 34 new members. We were even given the chance to honor Miss Stats for all of her help and support, as this will be her last year running the event. On November 15th, we held the semi-formal in our gymnasium. All grade levels were welcome. We had a great turnout and students loved it. A huge thank you to Ms. Shantz and student government for organizing the event. All 3 nights of the drama club's plays, All Chime In and Shuffling, were also huge successes. A thank you to Ms. Gulo and Mr. Burton, as well as congratulations to our student directors, Grace Myers and Abby Sunday. Some upcoming events we have. We can now look forward to the drama club's musical production of Hadestown. This production has given more students the opportunity to showcase their talents, as it has been double casted. Rehearsals have begun and performances will take place February 6th, 7th, and 8th. More information to follow. Students attending the NYS CLSA meeting leave this Sunday, November 24th, and will return Tuesday, November 26th. This meeting will take place in Lake Placid. The 20 selected individuals will be given the opportunity to meet with other student leaders across New York State. Congratulations to the high school's winter drumline program for qualifying for championships, which will take place in Dayton, Ohio. Some new information in the art department. They are now offering workshops to all students, providing them with an art experience even if they did not register for art class this year. Once a month, a teacher from the art department will volunteer their time to teach students how to create a craft or project, such as ceramic ornaments, rock painting, card making, etc. All winter sports have officially started after school today. And then I wanted to end by sharing with you an update on DECA's Dare to Care program, the anti-bullying. From the president of our school's DECA club, Abby Tetrault, she quotes, "Both of our presentations went very well, both being executed according to plan with virtually no problems. A. Cole Elementary was the 14th, Brewerton Elementary was the 15th, where students participated in both the presentation and different activities. Currently, at both elementary schools, there is hanging posters for students to see their pledge to Dare to Care." And that's all from me tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome, great job, as always. Any board members like to report? No? Tom, you're up.
Well, Mateo took a bunch of them, and I'm glad that he did, so this will be quick. Again,
Much better.
excellent student, he did. Excellent student theatrical performances. I had went on the Thursday. It was right after school, like 4:30. It was awesome. The kids are very creative. Cell phone policy update. I gave that to each board member that they can take a look at. So with that, basically, it's changed since the first rough draft. And again, it's just a draft because ultimately it's the Board of Education that has final say. It's a board policy. It's their board policies. But what we did was with the cell phone forum that took place in here, we were able to have the feedback from that, and then 3 surveys, a student survey, a staff survey, and a parent/guardian survey. We put all of that on our website. I'm going to give credit for Mr. Patch on this because he's got the paid version of ChatGPT, which I definitely need. He's able to run everything through for an executive summary, which is amazing because we took, myself and the people sitting at the table over there, took the time to go through everything. Pearl took some curse words out. Won't tell you what survey that was in. But so now if you look at our website, it lists the responses of everything. So it's a very transparent way to go about doing this. We had a DAT meeting, district advisory team. Hats off to the teachers and the admin that were part of that, because they took the first survey draft, the first policy draft, and they had some really great ideas on ways that they thought it would run more efficiently. And so that ended up being a result of all of that feedback to this right here. And so, and I welcome anybody to go to the website and to look at the executive summary and take a look at this. They're going to see that it aligns, that everybody, even the students, recognized, most of the students, that there was a need for restrictions, right? How that looked, and do we still, give autonomy to the teachers in their classrooms to be able to do things that work for them, and we do. So I think it's the biggest win-win. The goal with this is that the December 9, it'll be the first time in the policy committee that they'll give it a first read. Then it has to be a second read before it's ultimately adopted by the Board of Education. So realistically, it probably won't be initiated until after midwinter break in February. End of February. That gives us time to be able to, the board, to look at everything. Because once it's in, it's in. Plus it gives us a little time because the governor could throw us a curveball and could come out with something that says bell to bell, right? Which changes this, right? So it gives us a little bit more time, but it is coming, right? And so it also gives the board the opportunity, since they just got this just today, to be able to look at this before the first committee reading of it on December 9. Then last is Dare to Care. I was at both of them. I caught the tail end of the first one at CSI for Cole, but then I saw the entire one at Brewerton. And it's remarkable that the DECA members, especially Abigail, just are so natural in speaking in front of large groups of people. But I was also so impressed with the students and how excited they are, because they look at those DECA students as if, they are the ultimate role models to them. So it was just awesome to see that excitement. So again, anytime we can have a student-driven opportunity for leadership, we'll always welcome that. Thus concludes my superintendent report.
Okay, thank you, Tom. If I could get a motion for item H in its entirety,
All motion?
and Lori, second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, thank
Oh, wait,
you.
hold on a second.
Oh,
Do we have to go into executive session under that one?
The executive session regarding the...
Okay, so it's not a separate.
I didn't read it as a
It's all
second.
It's all H, though. Okay.
I thought he said H1.
He said H,
Oh, he did.
okay.
Auditory processing.
So executive session is not included. It's just under H, under mine.
Yeah,
So it's separate, got it. Okay, it doesn't have its own letter. All good.
okay. You all
So we
set?
voted then? Or no?
No, I'm going to make the motion to go into executive session. I will make a motion that the Central Square Central School District Board of Education hereby move into executive session to discuss matters leading to the tenure of one particular person with action to follow. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Perfect, thank you. That's what, we all agreed that she's just out giving out hugs and kissing babies out here. Yeah. No, I was just saying. You're okay.
And like in Little League, I remember because she'd drive them out when they were living in Liverpool. She'd always have issues with practices that we scheduled. She'd be like, I can't get anything there.
Okay, could I get a motion to return to open session?
I'll motion, or I'll second. Ken motion.
All those in favor? Okay, I will make a motion that the Central Square School District Board of Education hereby approves the agreement with Ryan Oyer, Director of Pupil Personnel Services, to extend the time of his probationary period to November 30th, 2025. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? On to item I, adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
All those in favor?